Is this America
This
or
is
Russia?
America. This is America. This is America.
No,
This definitely is America, bro.
At my crib, I got baddies galore. They just blow all the rats on couture. On the beach, we just chill by the shore. I need MTV Chris for a tour.
and then it
Because
brings up another topic as far as community goes, where does the money for black school districts go? Like we see all the nice white schools with the big gyms and the swimming pools and
I'ma
workout
let.
gyms. And then we
That's a
look
good
at some of
question.
the places that have a large demographic, like Harlem or like Queens or like, Atlanta or somewhere
Or
in California.
Schenectady.
Schenectady too. Like we see like some of these places that have large demographics and we look at the facilities and just the school and everything as far as the quality in general, and it's just not up to par. Like, why is that the case?
I feel like a lot of that has to do with the social services at the school. Like my wife is a teacher, so we kind of have these conversations. She actually just got laid off in Schenectady High School. 100 teachers got laid off because they didn't have the budget to pay them, so they just laid them all off. You know what I mean? She was one of those. But part of the issue is that, like, when you go, if you look at Schenectady High School and Niskayuna, which is the white town over that's wealthy, right? When you look at Schenectady High School, all of the or the majority of the students there, parents don't meet the wage requirements for, where they have to pay for lunch. So they all get free lunch, right? They say
Right.
you have to get a certain amount of lunch if you make under a certain amount of money. So that goes out of the budget, right? Whereas all those other districts, none of their parents qualify. They don't even have a free lunch program. You just expected to pay for your own stuff, right? The school supplies and everything in that district are paid for out of that budget in Schenectady because the parents don't meet the financial threshold income. Whereas our kids go to school in Niskayuna, they send us a list and you're responsible to provide all of your children's supplies and things like that. So, there's a whole, mess of stuff that goes into school budgeting and stuff in terms of why that same budget in one district would go a lot further than it would in another. Like the more social services you have in your district, the less monies you have for other things because everybody essentially gets the same slice of the pie, whether you need more or need less.
Mm.
No, that makes sense because you look at it, they got more to play with. Where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
So let's say the
And
rich,
you got a lot
the
more
rich,
people in Schenectady on welfare.
yeah, like so if the rich district get 100,000 and the poor district get 100,000, but the rich district don't have to put none of that 100,000 toward feeding the kids, whereas the poor district have to use 40,000 of that to feed their whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like even though they both got the same amount of money, they didn't really get the same amount of resources just because of how the laws are set up and what they're required to provide.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Just
that's
like
right.
like with this whole COVID thing, right? So my kids go to Niskayuna school districts. The school district bought machines to clean the classrooms and all the equipment every day, these steam machines and this, that, and the other. And then they had volunteers who are parents to come in and use the machine and clean the class. They were like, if we don't have volunteers for every day to clean these classrooms every day, we're not having school. So they got enough parents to participate and volunteer, and they were able to buy that equipment out of their school budget. Whereas Schenectady, they don't have any money to buy any equipment. They had to lay off 100 teachers, and they don't have anybody to clean the schools. So if something happens and some sort of outbreak does happen, they would have to essentially shut down all of Schenectady schools because they can't clean it, they can't do anything. Whereas in Niskayuna, if they have something happen, they can just isolate the students who are exposed, clean the school with the equipment they have, and continue everybody else's education, right? So that puts the poorest school district behind educationally wise as well because their students don't have access to school
They
as many
already
days.
behind.
They already behind enough, yeah. So when you do that,
Mm. Trust me, the ones that are still going to school out in that motherfucker. This shit is like Sparta out here. You heard? Between all these little ass towns, these little niggas ain't got no sense. They listening to all that gun music that they making out of Chicago. You niggas is not in Chicago. You in a small little town, and you should be growing up well. Because the shit that y'all got to worry about ain't shit that niggas had to worry about back then, my nigga.
Hey,
So
for real, I went to Crossgates today, and there was like 11 police cars inside of the building, and the fire alarm was going off, and like the cop cars, they weren't there for the fire alarm. They were just set up. You know how cars are set up on the inside of fucking shit, like where they're giving away cars and shit like that. It was it was like a cop car on like every place where they were set up something. There was a cop car there with cops sitting outside of it and like booklets and shit, and it was really absurd. It was like mad cop cars on every floor, and there was cops everywhere, and there were kids running around pulling fire
crazy,
alarms.
man.
And it's like, man, like, is this America or
this
or
is
Russia?
America. This is America. This is America.
You know,
It definitely is America, bro. Word up, because this is just a shame, and this is the craziest shit. You see what's going on in the world, and this is what's happening. A dude shot a little boy, drive-by shooting, clipped a little kid in Troy. Then they shot some other kid in the head. They all for what? For what? For what? We clearly know they ain't being raised right because they don't value no life. If you shooting people, like for what? There's bigger fish to fry, man. But ain't nobody worrying about doing the right thing. You know why? Because doing the right thing is always harder. It's way easier to do fuck shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And run around, act like a bad little badass. And now you're gonna throw your life away and be in jail.
well, you gotta
So-
think about it too. Somebody has to be there to show you the right way. Where you have to have somebody that's committed to you.
Or you gotta really, really, really just see that it's other shit outside of the world, bro. You gotta see that there's hope. Like I grew up in the fucking projects, bro, crabs in a barrel. But at the end of the day, I seen like, yo, it's a bridge. It goes out of this motherfucker. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a product of your environment, bro. You can outgrow that shit. You can grow and blossom into anything you choose to. But life is about choice. You know what I mean? And the choices that you make. You could go follow the bad niggas, or you could go follow the niggas that's playing basketball at the after school program. You know what I mean? I had those same options. It's just I was just hanging out with them niggas and then going to the after school program.
You're different.
Nigga said I was doing bad shit hiding in the after school program. It wasn't me.
Don't worry,
So they
but
carry on the camera. It wasn't me.
Oh my god.
At my crib, I got baddies galore. They just blow all the rest on couture. On the beach, we just chill by the shore. I need MTV Chris for a tour.